Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, they are getting into the first match of today. It will be played on Hogwarts snow. Definitely a fitting time of year to be on a snow map. Be switching over to the perspective right now, seeing, there we go, from the Knights and Revenants Quidditch squad. There we go. Let's get this all set up here, and then we'll be straight into this game. All right. Seeing the scoreboard up top, it'll go ahead and load the moment that we see into the match there. Straight off the bat. All right, we'll be seeing Ludo down. Straight off the kickoff from a chaser perspective, was able to take possession of the quaffle and get it straight down into the keeper's perspective. There we go. We're currently seeing a 10-0 early lead for first 10 seconds of the match going to the Knockout Knights here from the perspective of Ludo. Very nicely done on that side. We're going to also be seeing, switching over real quick, we see the Snitch currently favoring the Revenants just barely, but obviously it's way too early to call. We see Ludo taking possession again, pass to his teammate. The shovel pass didn't go where he wanted it to, went to the side, able to take possession back again, and we do see him straight into the top goal. Very well played on his perception.
Ludo's just pretty dominant here. He's just grabbing every single quaffle and just scoring immediately. That's pretty impressive right now.
He's doing very good on the quaffle gameplay. And taking a look over at the Revenants, we're seeing Sean the Bear on beater perspective. We're trying to see what type of things as a beater he's doing to try and make sure that he gets the Seeker the advantage that they need in order to get that Snitch.
Yeah, definitely the Snitch could bring them back here, so focus on that could be huge.
Yeah, talking about the Snitch, we'll be going ahead and switching sides back to the Knights. We're looking at Tegrity. Tegrity is the Seeker on the Knockout Knights, and he is currently in a battle right now, trying to see if he can get this Snitch to secure the 30 points. But in the background, we see Ravenclaw Quidditch from the Revenants Quidditch squad was able to get 10 points on the board. Currently a 10-point difference, 20-10, 5 minutes, 30 seconds left in the match. This could come down to the Snitch if the Quaffle game stays close. Going to switch over sides real quick, back over to the Revenants Quidditch Club. We're going to be seeing a Lit Romney's perspective as a chaser, as they going into the, there we go. We see a one-timer setup, but a nice save from Stoner. Great job over there. The keeper on the Knockout Knights. We'll be switching over to his side here real quick, seeing as the ball is heading down his way. Switching over, there we go. We'll be seeing Stoner now as the ball comes his way. We see a little bit of a pass play, and they were able to get a nice one-timer setup from Code Deliric, getting a score, currently 20-20. Taking a look at Ludo.
It's just I'm just wondering why they have like 3 attack chasers in front of Stoner's goal there with a lack of defense. I feel like the Knights are setting too much for the offense right now.
Yeah, we do see right now Snitch is getting pretty close. It is still favoring the Revenants Quidditch Club. We did see Tegrity doing quite well as far as trying to stay alive, but he did end up falling there. Taking a quick switch back to Revenants. We're just taking a look as we switch over into Tegrity. Oh, there we go. We see T-Rabo. T-Rabo with the first catch now. That currently is going to bring the score currently 20-50, 30-point difference going into this.
You have to update.
There we go, switching back over. Taking a look from Ludo, definitely the star chaser from the Revenants Quidditch, or from the Knockout Knights. He has been able to score a lot, but they need to be able to start catching up a little bit to get that Quaffle insurance for the Snitch. We see Naki with a good score there, 30-50, still 20-point difference. A Snitch can definitely change this going into the second Snitch. But we do see Tegrity did fall again. So Revenants have a lead once again on the Snitch.
They could definitely make up with the Quaffle game here if they pressure it more, but Snitch is gonna come down here, I think. No matter who gets the second Snitch might win the game.
For sure, and with Revenants needing to make sure that they get the second Snitch, we're taking a look at Sean the Bear from Revenants Quidditch Club and seeing what he's doing to shut down Tegrity right now to make sure that they're able to secure the Snitch. We're watching his gameplay, trying to hit. There's one bludger, a nice dodge from Tegrity. Although in the fact that he did lose 2, you see that there was a bump there, so he lost a little bit of damage. We'll take a look real quick, switching over sides, seeing Ludo with possession of the Quaffle right now as they're heading straight into the hoops. We see Ludo trying to do a little pass play between top and right, was able to kind of confuse the keeper and get another goal. Ludo with another Quaffle goal, currently 40-50. 10-point difference. It's going to come down to the second Snitch.
We saw a lot of pressure on the beater from Revenants here, since he hit many tackles and I think knocked out Tegrity again here, by the way. They just wanted to focus him out so that Tegrity can get him some bumps and just more pressure on Seeker.
Tegrity did fall again. That is going to be another lead in the snitch gameplay for the Revenants Quidditch squad. I'm taking a look, going back over to Sean the Bear from the beater perspective. The moment that we see the Quaffle gameplay here conclude, we see a pass over Death Comrade. Ludo setting up for a one-timer on the left-hand side here. Definitely a sharp angle there, but he doesn't need it. Naki was able to secure it 50-50. 10-point difference is no longer. It's an even game. Snitch is going to end up deciding this going into the last 1 minute 40 seconds. We see in the top right, T. Rabo falls. The Seeker on Revenants Quidditch Club falls once again. It is currently quite even right now. Both sides need the snitch. Both sides are definitely trying to have that extra Seeker pressure. We'll take a look real quick. We see another score by Code Deliric. Revenants Quidditch Club making the difference up by 10, 60-50 right now. We're watching the perspective of Sean the Bear on beater from Revenants Quidditch Club. He needs to be able to shut down Tegrity and ensure that his team isn't able to lose the second snitch that they need so badly. We do see, though, Stoner with the kill on the beater. Very well done there. Taking a look over onto the Knockout Knights now. Tegrity currently down in health. He's about 4 health bars right now in the snitch gameplay. We're watching him try and stay alive. His health is starting to regen. He does have a pretty equal chance right now still on the snitch. He's not. There's another great bump right now from T. Rabo. If you are looking at the Knights right now, you need to have Captain Carnage taking out T. Rabo. It's getting really close, and the snitch is going to be the difference going into the last 40 seconds.
At this point, you need at least 2 chases on the snitch here.
Naki with another Quaffle goal. 60-60. T. Rabo knocking out right now as far as it goes. We see, looking back real quick at Sean the Bear's perspective, he just took out Captain Carnage as well. So the Seeker being damaged and then the beater being out of the equation. This is a clear snitch lead right now from Revenants. We see in the background, Revenants Quidditch Club, another Code Deliric score, 70-60, 15-point difference, or 15-second difference right now going into this last moment. We'll see if they're able to get the catch. We see in the top right corner, Captain Carnage falls to Lit Romney. Very well done from Sean the Bear, keeping the pressure off of his Seeker and able to secure game 1. T. Rabo taking the last score there, making the final score 60-100. Revenants taking game 1. Shocky, how do you feel about that game?
Well, as I was watching it, I noticed that the Knockout Knights had a much more aggressive waffle game. They were doing something that I like to call the airstrike or the AR, which is where they put 2 or 3 chasers pretty much all the way up in front of the Revenants Quidditch Club's keeper, which you'd see that's why they scored a lot more goals as far as like the Quaffle is concerned. However, the Revenants Quidditch Club was running a lot more zone. So they were a lot more separated as far as like a defense, midfield, and aggressive chaser. And when the ball started to go towards the enemy goals, then the defensive chaser moved up. And I think because of that strategy, they were able to keep a lot more pressure on Tegrity because they had someone who was in the midfield who could help the beater go for that Seeker. And once we saw that Tegrity would go down a couple times, it was not that much of a difference as far as the Seeker game was concerned. The second that he went down, it was pretty much secured for the Revenants Quidditch Club. A very great performance from their chaser and great shot calling.
Now, 2 snitches there. Taking a look from Rajan, our resident Seeker here. How do you feel about that snitch gameplay?
Yeah, you know, the Seeker battle was pretty expected, Tegrity and T. Rubble, but what I didn't expect is kind of a roster shuffle with, I don't know if Faldama was just available, but they had to move one of their typical chasers, Captain Carnage, to beater, and he didn't look as comfortable on the role and didn't quite put as much pressure as they needed to on Lit Romney. So Romney definitely outbumped Tegrity, but I think, you know, Sean the Bear was putting much more pressure on Tegrity. I think Tegrity died 4 times during that game. So hard to catch snitches when you're having, you know, claw back that meter. Basically, have to catch twice as much meter as you need.
And then going to Tuck's perspective, how do you feel about that matchup?
I feel like the Knights focus a bit too much on the beater of the Revenants. We saw him going down pretty much and pretty often. I would love to see the same pressure they put on the beater get put on the Seeker here, because Tegrity went down pretty often. I think Revenants did a pretty good job at killing him, but the Knights focused just the beater too much. I think they realized at the end that Tegrity died too often and they have to take out the beater, but I would just go for the Quaffle game. They won this and they can do this again, I think. And then just go for the Seeker. Just delay the Snitch and then I think you can win.
We definitely seen from Ludo's perspective, very early score, 10 points there. Shocky, a little bit on the chaser gameplay there from Ludo. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I saw the chaser gameplay coming from Ludo. He was a very aggressive chaser, was able to maintain a lot of really good angles, both for his one-timers as well as really good cooks on the side of the Revenants. Now, the one thing I noticed is that because they were running a lot more aggressive actions, they couldn't necessarily focus too much on midfield presence or even defense, which I think was the problem, but their offense was fantastic. I think if you're going into game two, I think if you're the side of the Knockout Knights, you have to reevaluate and come with a better strategy as far as either protecting your Seeker or applying more pressure midfield.
Very nice. And then from Rajan, if you're Integrity, what do you need to change up going into the second match to not lose both snitches?
Yeah, I think Tegrity was a little dodge happy early on. Might have dodged, a chaser tackle or two here, but you're kind of leaving yourself exposed to bumps and bludgers at that point. So I'd like to see Tegrity with a little bit more dodge control, saving that for really key moments, like meter losing moments, as far as big bludgers or big bumps go.
For sure. Well, definitely both these teams have shown that they are definitely both in it. We've seen a great gameplay from the Quaffle on the Knockout Knight side. We've seen some great snitch gameplay from the Revenants. Both came into this. It was 60-60, and then came in that last points from Code Deliric, doing really good on the Quaffle gameplay there. Going into this second game here, they're both kind of getting ready to queue up, so they'll be up any moment now. This is your last chance. Take a quick bathroom break if you need to. Go grab some water, grab your snacks, as they will get into this. We're going to go ahead and pump up the music real quick, and we'll be back the moment they're in the same game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, they are getting into the same game. We're going to go ahead and switch perspectives real quick for you guys. We'll be starting off looking at the Knockout Knights and Revenants Quidditch going into their second match, taking a look at the Knights' perspective here. Scoreboard will fix itself here in just a moment. All right, we're looking from Tegrity's perspective, going straight into trying to find the snitch at the early match. We see it goes to the Revenants. The first 5% that you get for finding it definitely can be a huge lead into the little bit of a shift going into this. Obviously, a bump, a tackle can change it, but the extra little bonus there, as Rajan would probably mention, is definitely useful to have.
Yeah, it's definitely nice having it rather than not having it. It kind of gives you a little more room to operate, knowing that you don't need to come back from that 5% hole.
Yeah, switching over to Revenants now, we're going to take a look at Sean the Bear. He was doing a great job shutting down Tegrity, making sure he was able to get those kills early on last time. And we kind of want to see a little bit more of that from his perspective, so that way they win the secret gameplay. But then we also want to see Tegrity doing a better job at dodging and staying alive. Going back to the MVP probably on Chasers from the Knockout Knights, we'll be switching over and seeing Ludo. Ludo currently was having possession, and Naki was able to take it from an intercept that happened, and they're heading downfield right now. We do see right there a fumble. Looks like it was able to go to another player. Code Deliric was able to grab it and send it straight past Stoner. Currently 10-0. Revenants taking the first score at the 5-minute 45-second mark. Take a look. We do see Stoner was able to knock out Sean the Bear, so that hero kick there was useful, and he was able to take out the beater. That removes a little bit of the pressure from Tegrity to help him try and stay alive. And in the top right, we see Captain Carnage does take out T-Rabo, so that's a big percentage loss right there for the Revenants. That's going to be 10%, and if he's running the 5% snitch meter steal, that's 15% down. Definitely going to help Tegrity. He is low. If you look in the bottom left, you can see the health bars of the players, and we see Tegrity is in the red again. He is 4 health right now. Ludo currently with possession of the Quaffle, heading downfield. He is able to try and get past, but a nice shovel pass to Naki. Naki with the one-timer there. Well played from both sides.
Right now, Integrity is doing way better than the last round with staying alive, and you just see that on the snitch meter. Like, they are winning right now, and the Quaffle game is pretty even, so I think it's going to be down to the snitch again.
Yeah, we're seeing Sean the Bear's perspective here, trying to kill Tegrity, but there's a lot of chaser pressure, it looks like, on him. We see him fall right there, not just from a chaser and a beater, but just a combination of all of that pressure on him at once. So Tegrity is able to stay alive longer by having the beater dead longer. We're watching Tegrity's perspective as it gets closer here. In the top right, we see Captain Carnage chunk another huge percentage by killing T-Rabo once again. They definitely lost those 2 snitches, and they definitely learned from it. They knew that a change had to happen, and they're making that change so that way Tegrity can get these catches. Taking a look as it's close to this end catch here, what are you thinking from Rajan's perspective as this goes into this?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's fly safe. You have a huge lead, so the only thing that could really get in your way is a death here. So I like playing way off the snitch, like we were there, staying out of the keeper's way. Find your moment to catch, and it's usually around blue side. But she taking a few hits here, so we'll see.
We see that bump and a bludger, huge and great kill from Sean the Bear right there. Tegrity needing to stay alive, was playing safe, but a snowball effect of one hit after another, it didn't save him, and he was fallen. That is another 10%, and that evens up the snitch race between the two right now. We see Sean the Bear is low on health again, trying to go after Tegrity. Another good kill is what he's looking for to try and guarantee it, but he falls once again. Captain Carnage doing a great job shutting down the gameplay. In the background, we see Naki scoring another one on the Quaffle gameplay. So very well played from the Knockout Knights there. Able to get a little bit extra lead, so that way when this catch comes, hopefully in their favor, they'll have a little bit more of a lead.
We just see what we saw at the end of last round. The Knockout Knights only focusing the beater from Revenants here, because they say, okay, if we can keep Tegrity alive, he's gonna win the 1v1. They just trust in his bumps, and that might pay off.
We see Code Deliric with another score on the Revenant Quidditch Club. It's 2020. The snitch is really close, and we see T-Rabo fall. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. First snitch right now. T-Rabo falls. We're taking a look at Tegrity. That bar is almost full on his end. He is the blue bar that you see up top left, and now his ring is blue. He is full 100% snitch meter. He just needs to stay alive. He's flying a little close, but he was able to dodge a lot of players there. You've seen a swarm of players trying to go after him. He's out of boost because he didn't get a ring, but now we see T-Rabo going in for it. But with 100% here, if Tegrity takes the right turn here, he can get the catch. We see he tried to get the catch there, and there we go. Tegrity with the catch. Knockout Knights currently 50-20.
Really well played by Tegrity there at the end.
I like the beater targeting. I said last round that they have to target a bit more the Seeker maybe, but when they are so consistent with killing the beater, and this is what keeps Tegrity alive, then it works perfectly fine here.
Very well said. We'll switch over real quick. Take a look at Sean the Bear. He's been doing a really good job keeping Tegrity at bay. Tegrity's been low as far as each round that we've seen. He was dying a lot first game, and then he was able to fall right at the 100% meter, and there we go. We see him kill once again Tegrity. So he's doing a really good job on that beater perspective. In the background, we've seen Ludo do a great job scoring another Quaffle goal, making it 60-30 right now. Favor of the Knights, 30-point difference with a minute left on the match. Taking a look back now, we see Captain Carnage just fell there. Switching over to the Chaser gameplay from the Knights, we're looking at Naki's perspective. Naki's setting up to try and get a nice intercept. We see the kickoff happen right there. The hero kick was able to be avoided, but Tegrity's still low on health if you look at the bottom left. Top right, we see Captain Carnage take out Sean the Bear again. This is a lot of beater pressure on the opposing beater. The Revenant's beater has fallen now numerous times, and it's been critical moments to allow Tegrity to stay alive and keep them off of the Chaser gameplay. You're currently looking at the last 30 seconds here. Currently a 30-point difference. A snitch is needed. Rajan, from your experience, can this happen from either side?
30 seconds should be enough for the second snitch. Yeah, it looks like they're quite a ways on the meter, but it will start shooting up in the last 20 seconds here.
Very
The only
nice.
question is, can they like tackle him so much that he cannot catch? Can they stop him? And it looks like it. Yep, he's down.
There we go. We see T. Rabo fall. We do see Naki going here, trying to increase the point differential. There's 7 seconds left. The snitch meter does look like it's not going to be a second catch. That is going to be game 2 for you guys, 70-30, with the Knockout Knights taking this to a game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Shocky, straight to you. How do you feel about that post game?
Honestly, I think that was a great justification and a great change up from the Knockout Knights. We did see that in that game, they actually did stop going that hyper aggressive quaffle game and they started to play a little bit more zone. And I think that actually plays to their strengths, allowing their teammates to rotate when they need to. We saw a lot more team ups from Ludo. We saw it from Knockit. We saw everything that was happening was a controlled event. They were keeping control of that midfield, making sure that they could keep the Revenants in their sights, saying, this is not something that we will allow. We are not going to get shut out. And the fact that there was only one snitch catch in that entire game only proves that fact. Like, of course, the Seekers going down, definitely not something you want to see. But in the event that the Seekers do go down, you want to try to maintain control of the midfield as much as humanly possible.
Very well said. And then Rajan, let's talk about that snitch gameplay a little bit.
Yeah, really good response from the Knockout Knights. Tegrity fell 4 times in the first game, and I think the natural response to that would be like, we need that aggression, on the other team's Seeker. But they responded, and Tux mentioned it. They responded not by going after the Seeker, but by going after the beater. And their goal was just to keep Tegrity alive. And Tegrity did fall once in that first niche, but did plenty playing safe at the end there to secure it. And then that last one could have gone either way. But yeah, I like the mix up of, really focusing the beater because they think their Seeker can outplay the other.
Very well said. Ellen, going over to you, Tux, how do you feel about that game?
I feel like the Knights realized in the first round that they cannot win by only Quaffle game here. It kind of looks like this was their intention. We go all in on Quaffle game. They played very aggressive the first round. And the moment they realized, okay, we maybe need a snitch, since they lost both snitches and lost the round by that in the first round, they just realized, okay, we have to go for the beater more. We have to allow Tegrity to be alive more, and they did it perfectly well here. The beater was almost dead the whole time, and at the second snitch, they just targeted the Seeker down, so he cannot catch the second one. This was just pretty good.
All right, and then taking a look just from a broader perspective, if you're the Revenants Quidditch Club, what needs to change, Shocky, going into this game 3?
As far as their quaffle game is concerned, I think you needed to make a very large adjustment. The second that they went from the first game being hyper aggressive on the side of the Knockout Knights, I think they were expecting that same thing going into game 2. And obviously, Quidditch is a rock, paper, scissors game. I think that they were just expecting them to throw scissors again. And I think they need to now adapt, thinking, okay, now if you're going to be playing more zone, you're going to be playing a lot more midfield control. I think they need to do something very similar. I think they need to take control of the midfield. And I think they really need to put a lot more pressure on the side of the Knockout Knights, whether that's applying direct pressure to Tegrity with punches or trying to go for some sneaky little takedowns on the beater.
And definitely we've seen some beater play there. They were kind of shutting down Sean the Bear numerous times, as we were talking about beforehand, and well played from their aspect. And from the Revenants, they need to kind of take a little bit of a note at that and maybe just try and shut down, like you said, Captain Carnage. Very well played from both players. Any last notes from you, Rajan or Tux?
I have a note. I think the obvious response for me from the Revenants right now would be to pressure the Quaffle game a bit more. By doing that, they forcing the other chasers to play the Quaffle game too and just get them off killing the beater. And I think if you have the 2v2 with the beater and the Seeker only, I think the Revenant's taking that home, as we saw better in the first round. So by pressuring chaser game more and getting the chasers off the tackles, I think that would be the strat here.
Yeah, I think Sean, absorbed a ton of pressure that game. and I'd expect because it worked for the Knights that pressure will be there again. So it's going to be up to the chasers from Revenants to try to start applying that pressure back, either to Carnage or straight on Integrity.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead. Both of these teams are getting ready to queue up again. This is where I like to mention, if you guys are in queue, give it just a moment so that way both these teams can get in there. We're going to go ahead and put the music up just again. Going into match 3, get ready. It's going to be a close one. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting into the third and final match here, and this is going back to where game 1 started, where it all began, Hogwarts Snow, ladies and gentlemen. Switching over, we will be seeing from the perspectives, we'll be seeing right now the Knockout Knights. There we go. We'll get the scoreboard up in just a second. 3, 2, and 1. Straight off the kickoff, we're going to see Naki right there kicking the quaffle other side of the field. Although they were prepared for it, got the first possession, and Naki now carrying the quaffle. Taking it down, we do see a nice block right there going from CompuGamer. Very well played there. Going straight into this, we also see that the snitch 5% goes to Revenants Quidditch Club. So T-Rabo was able to find the snitch initially. Very well for them. Naki taking possession, stolen right afterwards. This is already back and forth on the quaffle gameplay. No one team wants this to be the final end game for them, but with it being so close, they're definitely playing their heart outs. We see Stoner in possession right now, taking a nice pass down to Naki half field, ready for that, and a nice interception right there. We're seeing back and forth quaffle gameplay. These mid chasers are ready for anything. So as much as Naki's been prepared to try and take some stuff, there's also been Ravenclaw Quidditch and Code Deliric kind of preparing to cause those fumbles and get the snitch. Very well played against for Naki. Back and forth, still 0-0. 6 minutes left on the match. Very close so far.
By looking at the last round and looking how they played this round again, it's probably going to be Snitch game again. So I want to see the pressure they did the last round, because I really, really like that, on the Beater and the Seeker.
Taking a look, Naki's heading into the keeper's zone. We see a close goal, but wasn't able to make it. Top right, we see T-Rabo eliminates Tegrity. That is the first fall from Tegrity, and this gives T-Rabo a little bit of a snitch lead as far as the Revenants Quidditch Club.
Yeah, a couple big missed bumps there by Tegrity kind of gave T-Rabo a window to bump back. So Tegrity's got some work to do.
We will switch over as soon as we see Naki here try and go for a goal attempt. We'll see what's happening over on the Revenants side. Nice pass from Naki over to Ludo. Ludo still in possession and loses it. There we go. We see it head back. Taking a look real quick, see Sean the Bear. Taking a look from his perspective, seeing what the beater's doing here, seeing what's happening. We see right there, goal from Naki in the background, while Tegrity is currently half health. We see Tegrity kind of getting bumped and kind of harassed in many areas, but trying to stay alive. He's in the red. Definitely could end at any moment now if he gets hit with a good tackle or bludger. We see some chasers entering the fray as well. Lots of attack on the Seeker. They definitely aren't letting up. But we're also seeing Sean the Bear staying alive a little bit longer than I think we've seen him last time. A little bit of pressure there taking out his bludger, but the beater pressure still remains like what we've seen from game 2. There we go. We see Sean the Bear down to 3 health. And we see in the background Lit Romney from the Revenants Quidditch Club making this a 10-10. 4 minutes left on the match. It's just going to come down to the snitch again for this first part. We see Tegrity currently down to 5 health as Captain Carnage falls. Well played on his part. Switching over to Tegrity's point of view, we see this get really close. Rajan, take it from here real quick.
Yeah, you know, I've been watching Tegrity's point of view. I haven't seen T-Rabo until just now. T-Rabo comes back with a nice bump, but the pressure's been on T-Rabo, but now it's going to be head-to-head. Whoever can catch it at the end. It looks like it's going to come down to red side, so that's advantage T-Rabo.
We see that 3 health right now from Tegrity. He needs to be careful going into enemy territory here, but he can't lose the snitch. He is getting close to 100%, but so is T-Rabo. There we go. We see the health regen from him. If you've seen the small glimpse there, we've seen that T-Rabo was low as well. Tegrity with 100% snitch meter, currently able to try and get a catch, but a bludger knocks him off. That's 2.5% stolen, so he lost the 100% that he was at. Now he's back at it. T-Rabo is currently neck and neck with him. A single bump from T-Rabo there kind of knocks him off path. Bludger comes in. This is anyone's catch right here. Going into this, we see T-Rabo, enemy territory, 100%, and T-Rabo gets the catch. 40-10, Revenants Quidditch Club. Very well played.
Keeper kick at the end was super clutch because I think he canceled the bump at this point.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal where that snitch ends up as far as ending up behind one of the keepers. So big advantage there for T-Rabo to end it on his own side.
Very well. And we do see that the first snitch 5% does go in favor of the Knockout Knights. We'll be switching back over real quick, taking a look at Stoner's perspective, the keeper on Knockout Knights. we're seeing right now as the Quaffle comes his way, we see Lit Romney in possession. A kick goes from Stoner and kind of a shot in the dark from Lit Romney over to Code Deliric, but I think the one-timer ran up, and so they were able to kind of save it there, and Naki taking it downfield. We see the Seekers coming in possession. Stoner getting ready to try and get some kicks on the Seeker, but T-Rabo was able to evade. Well done there, and was able to stop himself from dying. We see the play caller rings going out, a little bit extra boost for his chasers down there. Top right, we see Sean the Bear takes out Tegrity. This is another situation where Tegrity is dying and needs to stay alive here. That extra percentage that Revenants Quidditch Club is able to get is definitely helpful here. We see the Snitch coming back this way. We see also the Quaffles coming this direction. We see the pass play over the Ravenclaw Quidditch. We see this kind of right here, getting ready, Stoner, getting ready to try and save a goal. We see the one-timer set from Code Deliric. He was in a blind spot there. If we were to take a look back at this, you can kind of see that extra little distance. That pass goes into the blind spot, and without knowing where they were aiming, Code Deliric was able to get a very nice goal there, making it currently 10-50, the score being in Revenants Quidditch Club favor. We do see Ludo right there making it 20-50. Well done there as well. We switching over perspectives, taking a look at Tegrity.
Just noticed a lot of missed bumps from Tegrity that are giving a big window to the Revenants to attack. So we'll see if Tegrity can clean up these bumps and maybe steal some meter back.
We see in the background Code Deliric making another Quaffle goal. This is 45 seconds left in the match, currently 60-20. That's a 40-point difference. Right now, if you're the Knights, you need to score a Quaffle goal, and Tegrity needs to catch this Snitch in order to bring us into overtime. Currently seeing 30 seconds left. Tegrity is currently regenning, so he can stay alive, stay healthy. T-Rabo with a bump stops the healing. T-Rabo's full health right now, and Tegrity going into enemy territory, only 4 health right there. We see Naki get the goal. This is the goal that Knights needed on the Quaffle gameplay. This is down to Tegrity now. Tegrity has 17 seconds to get this catch here. T-Rabo with a bump right there. They need to keep T-Rabo off of him, and Tegrity needs to get this catch. 10 seconds remaining. This is really close. If Tegrity gets this, it goes into overtime right here. We see right now, it goes from yellow. The bump right there brings him forward. 1 second left, and he doesn't get the catch. Very well played from both teams.
I think with a couple more seconds, he would have got that there, but that was very close.
Yeah, tough way to finish. It was seconds away. Tegrity with a nice bump there at the end, but just couldn't quite reach out and grab it at the end there.
This is going to be a Revenants victory. Best of 3. Revenants takes it in 2-1. Well played from both sides. Shocky, how do you feel about that match?
Honestly, I think the Revenants did a great job of course correcting their issues that they had from game 1. There were a lot more pressure on Tegrity, making sure that the Seeker was doing the appropriate bumps, trying to get as much little knockoffs and little stuns as much as possible, and really to stop the regen more than anything. I don't think he was running a super high damage bump build. I think he was way more focused on the Snitch meter rather than, homing bumps or massive amounts of damage, because really he just wanted to stay as far away but still as much Snitch meter that he could possibly get. I think, Rajan, you'd be able to kind of clarify from what you saw, what do you think the build was for the Seeker?
I think actually both of them were running Meter Thief, because I noticed that the beginning of that game, Tegrity had a lead, had the 5% early, and T-Rabo was able to steal that back. So, and I saw it both directions. So I think both of them were running some combination of 4-2-4, maybe 3-3-4. I'd be curious to see the exact builds, but I do believe both of them were running Meter Thief.
And then Tux, from your perspective, kind of looking at a little bit from that keeper, we've seen that play. I'm going to show it on stream again for those who needed to see it. But that was definitely a situation where that blind spot from a keeper's perspective, how did you feel about seeing that?
This is what I tell my chasers all the time. We need to tackle this one-timers, and you could see this here perfectly. You can't really do much. I mean, yeah, he was pretty close to catching it, but it's very hard if he's in the blind spot there, and you just need one defensive chaser back there.
We see right here.
Yeah, you cannot really see him good, and it's pretty much a guess at this point. He's pretty close to the hoops, and this is where you need the defensive chaser. And if you look at the field, he have no defensive chaser at all, so his team kind of fucked up the rotation there.
So even looking Stoner going to that left-hand side, you still just don't see Code Deliric here. He was very much in a blind spot. Even all the way on this left-hand side, you don't see him there. So well played as far as the positioning from Code Deliric to make sure that that one-timer was able to be sneaked in. You do see that pass play, but without knowing that he was over there, very well played right there.
The only thing that you can see, but I probably wouldn't have seen it too. You had like a little indicator of the guy with the one-timer sitting there. If you watch at the keeper, he had like the red indicator that someone's left of him. But to look at that and to realize that when the quaffle's coming close to your hoop is pretty hard.
And then Shockey, any kind of last notes if you were the Knights kind of looking at that last game?
From the Knights' perspective, Stoner actually did see him earlier. I think it was just maybe something that he was too focused on the midfield to really concern himself with, and maybe that piece of information kind of lost itself over in time. But he did actually notice him vastly earlier. I think it just maybe left his mind. He was sitting there for a little bit. Definitely playing a little bit more of a strategy game, thinking my team's got this, my chasers have got this. All I have to do is be in the appropriate spot. And I think the second that Stoner saw the pass off, he thinks, oh my gosh, they're going to kick it far, which is why he was actually just to the right of it as the quaffle was going into the hoop. Rather unfortunate, but very well played by the Revenants Quidditch Club.
Very nice. And then Rajan, any last words that you'd like to say about both these teams?
I was impressed by the Revenants. The pressure they're able to put on Integrity pretty consistently throughout those games. It's watch Integrity's perspective. It's like death from a thousand cuts. Like chaser tackle here, keeper kick there. Like it wasn't big chunks at a time, but you just get whittled down. And every time you think you're about to start regenerating health and get back in the battle, you get hit again. So it's frustrating to play Seeker when you almost have the attention of multiple players throughout the game, but really impressed with Revenant's ability to pressure the Seeker there.
Especially when I compared it to the week 1 that we saw. I'm just gonna say Revenant's Quidditch Club improved a lot in these 2 weeks, and I just felt like we saw a different team today.